All right, y'all, we are starting our genealogy journey. Let's go. I'm making my grandmother a quiche. She recently got through a major cancer surgery and she's about to start proton therapy, so if she wants a quiche, I am happy to make her a quiche. We're gonna be hanging out today because I'm starting my genealogy journey. And this is really important to me. Most Black Americans don't really know their history, at least descendants of chattel slavery don't really know their history past like 2 or 3 generations unless they really do the research to figure out who they were. And that's because descendants of chattel slavery, you know, our family was brought here as property. We were seen as property. So we were not important enough for our whereabouts and our history to be recorded. Our names were changed. We were carelessly sold here and there with terrible record keeping. We weren't even included in the census until 1870, after the Civil War. So if you really want to know who you are, it's not as easy as just like looking at some old family records or doing a simple Google search. You really have to dive deep and look at death certificates and marriage certificates, and you have to know a lot about your family. Was someone's name changed? Was someone a victim of rape in enslavement? There are so many little intricate details that you really have to take the time to know and learn if you're going to figure out who you really were. It's a shame. It's a shame. But that is the reality for a lot of Black Americans. And I am on the journey to figure out who my family really was. And I thought Black History Month is the perfect time to do that. It's the perfect time to start that, right? First, you got to know your own history. Before you can really appreciate the broader history of everyone else, you have to know who you are. So that's what we're about to do. I'm going to document that all here. And I'm excited to take you guys on this journey with me. I've got some butter I just browned in this pot, so we're gonna add in our shallots. I'm just gonna do a light saute on these until they're nice and soft and translucent. We don't want to overcook these, we don't want them to burn. Just a light little stewing. So today we're going over to the house so I can talk to my mom and my grandmother about our history. I wanna have a solid jumping off point and as much of their knowledge as I possibly can get so that I know where to start with all of my research. I actually started this journey last year. I had my grandmother come over for us to just like chit chat about her life and for her to share as much as she wanted and was comfortable sharing and as much as she remembered. And it was a great conversation, a great bonding opportunity, to be totally honest. But, it wasn't a structured conversation. Like, it was just us chit chatting. And so I think, having a really structured conversation where you can hit on all of the key things that you need to hit on is important for a more intentional exploration of your history. So actually, after that conversation, I got her this book off the TikTok shop. You guys have probably seen like ads for it on TikTok. It says, "Grandmother, I want to hear your story." And then it's a bunch of prompts that you go through. And my grandmother filled in literally every page. So I've been reading this and taking notes on the things that I already knew, I didn't know. And this is going to help guide this next phase of conversation. So this is something, it's super simple. They have it for like mom, dad, grandma, grandfather. They've got a whole bunch of different versions. If you're interested in starting a genealogy journey and you haven't got a full grasp on your parents' or grandparents' history beyond, the immediate family and the immediate things they told you, this is a really good place to start. Let's take the pie crust out of the oven. Ugh. No, I just fucked up the pie crust. Oh, come on. Mozzarella, pre-shredded out the bag. I wrung out this spinach as best I could because if you keep the spinach wet, your quiche is going to be watery. And we want this to be a nice, fully baked, solid quiche. Now we pour over our egg mixture. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put this on a tray. So that way if there's any spillage, it doesn't land in my oven, it lands in this thing. Into the oven we go. And this is how we're looking after it baked in the oven for about an hour. I sprinkled some more cheese on top and finished baking it in the oven. It's looking good. We'll see how she likes it. All right, we're at my parents' house. Mom, come get this quiche. No, this is Grandma's quiche.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Mother. Oh yeah, reveal. Well, it probably needs to be.
It smells great. Ooh, look.
Okay, so my grandma just pulled this out of the archives. So this is a family tree project I did in what grade, Grandma?
Was it third?
Yeah, I didn't have names past your parents, Grandma. And I didn't have any of Mom's dad's parents' names. Shout out to elementary school projects. A lot of Browns.
The family on the Brown side had owned a town named Browntown,
Skirt. Did she just say we owned a town?
but we had, as I was told, older members that didn't relate to the younger people, that there was taxes due on the property.
Mm-hmm.
And sold some of the land to, I don't want to say white people, sold the land
That's
to
fine.
Caucasians, and that some of the land go for the taxes that was due. We are also related to the James family in Virginia. I don't know what part of Virginia. And here are some of the names.
Where did you get these names from?
When I went to the 2017, the reunion, family reunion.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So wait, that's funny. 2 colors. I should look into the history of like why so many black people have colors as last names. Green, brown, white, black. Haven't you noticed that?
Well, with the last name Brown, and especially like John Brown, it came from being slaves,
Mm-hmm.
and they named you after their masters.
Right. And then also sometimes people would just, if they got free, they would take someone's last name of someone they admired, or they would just change it all together to separate themselves from enslavement.
True.
So yeah, it's like, that's why I feel like a lot of records get lost, because maybe...
We don't know your name.
Right, exactly.
Now here is a confusion right here.
Okay.
I've always known my grandfather to be Calvin,
Mm-hmm.
Calvin. They have Carvin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can look into that.
Okay.
Who does all the research for the family reunions? Like, you know, all these names and everything you got, was that programming at the reunion?
Let's see, Leslie did this one.
Leslie Green.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So you want to take copies?
Maybe I should hit her up. Okay, I'm back home, and I brought my little elementary school family tree project with me. So our conversation went on for a little while longer, and we looked through some other documents, but my camera died. So let's recap. I think there's like 4 core things that I really want to focus on in this next phase of research. So 1, maybe we owned a town called Browntown, named after our family. Now you already know I did a quick search on Google Maps. It's not that far from where we live right now. And baby, if that really was our land, give it back. Okay? I'm coming for it all. 2, I'm interested in why so many Black Americans have last names that are colors. We've got 2 just in that one level. My great grandmother and grandfather were a brown and a green. But I know a lot of African American people who have brown, green, black, white as last names. I want to delve deeper into that. Were these enslavers' last names? Were they, people named Black? Were they blacksmiths? Was it occupational? Like, I want to get into what those patterns are really about, and then specifically for my family, where those names came from. 3, there's some confusion between if my great grandfather's name was Calvin or Carvin. I want to solve that mystery for my grandmother and find out why are there conflicting records on that. And then 4, I want to contact the historians in the family from the family reunions. I think if that's one big takeaway, like for you, if you're interested in going on this genealogy journey and you're like, where do I start? Yes, of course, start with your mom, your dad, your grandmother, your grandfather, whoever, is in your immediate family. But if you need to go a level deeper, if your family is hosting regular family reunions, it is highly likely that somebody on that committee is acting as the family historian and at the very least has maintained relationships with other people that you could contact to learn a little bit more about your family history. So I think that's a really easy takeaway for all of you, is like, look and see who those family historian type people will be. Who are the influencers in your family who might be able to give you some more history outside of just your immediate parents or grandparents. Okay, so a few months ago, my husband and I set up Ancestry.com pages. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull all of the names that I now have, thanks to this little elementary school project. I'm going to put them into Ancestry.com and see what kind of records, certificates, newspaper articles come up, and see where that takes me. I think that's going to take me down another path of learning about who these people were. Did we own a town named Browntown? If so, I would assume that there are maybe some newspaper articles about us, maybe tax lien records, because my grandmother had said something about there being taxes owed, and so we might have needed to sell some of the land to pay the taxes. This is only scratching the surface, right? This was one little cute little conversation. And I feel like we got a lot of good information. I feel like we got a lot of things that information I was not previously working with. So I'm really excited about it, but we're only scratching the surface. There's so much more to uncover. Dead ends we might run into. We might have to get creative with how we find this information, but I am really excited, and I thank you guys so much for going on this journey with me. I put the information into Ancestry.com and immediately started getting some more information, filling in some holes I previously didn't have, like when our family members were born, where they were born, marriage certificates, kids. I am so excited and can't wait to see what else we uncover.